Many of you are very talented, but if you really want to wow me today, you're going to have to show something extra. Little thing I've coined heart.
I think his mom drank when she was pregnant or something.
Attaboy, JD. Hustle, hustle.
I believe in you, JD. Don't listen to those motherfuckers.
I know your heart's on the football field, but I need your head in history class, Mr. Vance.
Yes, Vance, yes.
That stupid freak will never make the team. He's a loser.
Fuck you, Gavin. You and your dad are both gay.
Damn it, Vance, I wish I had 100 of you. If only you could get those godforsaken test scores up.
If you ask a hot chick to prom, I'll give you a C because history smiles upon the bold.
Asking me for my permission to ask my daughter to prom is a really classy move.
Vance past history. Now let's go beat the shit out of the Soros High Goblins.
Yo, it's Me got baby face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water, make Gulf US survey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Me got baby face, me got big cheer. Trump bad, Trump good, me no care. Me write big book, kill billies and stuff. Now me important, we're tired tough. Me go Yale school, me learn big word. Now me forget everything me heard. Silicon people give me job, me take. Now me like Trump, me make no mistake. Yo, it's JD Advance. Fight, walk, folk, me say never die. Me protect kids, me born liberal. Him, them, there. America simple, only two gender. Me face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water, make Gulf US of A. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Too many gender for my agenda. Went on a bender, execo the sender. Might take Panama just like na. Might take Gaza, pop then a plaza. With this one majesty.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Monday. I know everybody was yelling at me because I didn't go live this weekend. But I did do like a 6-hour gaming stream the other night, if that makes anybody feel better. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. I'm not sure. But it's good to see everybody. Hope you all had a good weekend. And let's see. Hang on. So much stuff is going on right now. Guess what? Marmillin wasn't here for the pre-stream grift tax. Okay? Marmillin was not here. But Surly SOB is here to pick up the slack. When Marmillin's not here, I get a little worried, okay? I get a little worried. But Surly SOB with $20 pre-stream chat grift tax. I bet Marmillan didn't get a notification. Also dropped 5 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go. Thank you so much. But I am excited. Let's see here. Hang on. MAGA Man here says, I don't know anything about Israel or even what Mossad is. Now I'm going to tell you why everyone who doesn't like Israel is wrong. Never said that. Literally never said that. And the fact that you, an anti-Israel person, is making up shit doesn't surprise me at all. If you want to actually address what I've said there's plenty of reasons to criticize Israel. I think Netanyahu is the Malkias guy of world leaders. I don't like him at all. But the lunatics that blame every single problem in the world on Israel are retarded. And I stand by my statement. But if you're going to make shit up, then you fall right in line with the anti-Israel crowd. I guess you're watching too much Candace Owens these days, but at least you're consistent, okay? At least you're consistent with your delusions. Let's see. Jeremy also says he's retarded. I do say that quite often, as a matter of fact. I do. Dark Red Knight says, you going to stream the NASA launch on Wednesday? I might. I know not a lot of people are talking about that, shockingly enough, but yes, I'm going to try. I do have the Mario Galaxy movie on Wednesday, so I don't know what time the NASA launch is, so I'll have to see. But it's something I would like to cover if I can. Let me see. Jeremy won't read this, but I got an overdraft fee today. Israel did it. Damn right. They did it. They always do that shit, man. It drives me crazy. And then, of course, we got this one right here. The No Kings protest over the weekend absolutely wrecked MAGA. Yeah, it was so bad. The No Kings protest was so bad. They decided to use footage from 2018 to pretend it was part of yesterday's protest. Yeah, that's how bad it was. It was so bad that they decided, let me use footage from 2018 to try and build a narrative. Oof, man. How will MAGA ever recover? How will MAGA ever recover? Man, I think it's over. I think it's over for Trump, guys. Probably over. Damn. Surly SOB says, Jeremy isn't pro or anti-Israel. He's just anti-straight. That's pretty mean to say, Surly SOB, but you spent 20 to say it, so I'm not going to be mad. 1992 Space Movie says, Jeremy never reads my super chats. Maybe if you'd fucking send them, I would. Let's see. Kevin says, JD Advance is my spirit animal. It's a dude 199 for $1. Thank you. George Ramirez says, World of Warcraft now putting pride events in the game. Oh my God, really? Little Jim Salo says, MAGA weird guys, liberal probably. Me looking at Canada Socialist Convention and No Kings protest. Why are MAGA so weird? Yep. Cole Howlers is on my way home watching Passenger 57. Always bet on black, Jeremy. Thanks for everything and your hospitality, my brother. We'll be seeing you again soon. Have a safe trip home, brother. And Passenger 57, Wesley Snipes, goated. Swig of water for Wesley Snipes. Schrodinger's chat says, Leia place tax. Godzilla's Grease says, I didn't even know that there was a No Kings protest until I saw a video on Alex Stein trolling them. Same. I honestly, I didn't know much about it. So it's just, the whole thing is retarded. Packy Proton says, you missed 2 days. Return your grifter card in shame. I mean, to be fair, I did stream like 6 hours last night over on D-Day Cobra Gaming. Dark Gavel says, what's the significance of the NASA launch? Well, it's been pushed back several times, and not a lot of people are actually talking about. I don't know all the specifics. I know that we've got Matt HTX, we've got Forest Through the Trees, and others that have been really focusing on it. But not a lot of people are talking about it, shockingly enough. Let's see. 1992 Space Reviews. I keep sending in super chats and Jeremy still won't read them. I'm going to blame Mossad for not having my supers read. That's it. To the moon. Circling the moon. Let's see. Launches 6:24 p.m. Wednesday, April 1st. Okay. I might be able to cover that. So I'll keep you updated. I might be able to cover that. Eric John says no Kings, so no Michael or George. GTFO out of here. What's up, Eric John? Good to see you, brother. We never went to the moon. Yeah, we did. I've watched plenty of movies where we went to the moon. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro. I've seen plenty of movies. So, like, maybe you need to figure your shit out, okay? Because there's been I've seen plenty of movies where we went to the moon. So you might want to check your sources, okay? Let's see. Armageddon was a documentary. 100% it was. So, like, what are you talking about? Bruce Willis saved humanity. Okay? And Ben Affleck was there to sing to Liv Tyler. Yeah, man. So, let me see. Jeremy needs to grow his hair out again for the summer. Dude, I'm probably not going to do that again. A historical moment in history, and Jeremy might be able to cover it. Well, I am covering it. The historical moment is that the Super Mario Galaxy movie is coming out. And so, yeah, I am covering the historical moment. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Star Fox McCloud is in the Super Mario Galaxy movie. That is a historical event. I will be covering that. What's the problem? Let me see. Hell yeah. See? We cover all the historical events. Super Mario Galaxy movie is going to be a record-breaking opening weekend, all of that. But in all reality, bullshit aside, sarcasm aside, dude, right now on social media, I'm not sure I've ever seen it this bad. And every time I say that, it gets worse. It gets completely worse. It's the worst thing ever. John freaking Murdoch. For 50 says no Kings protest funded by communist low information voters. Hail IDOTs, hail 199, happy Jessica. Look at there. And again, I think I deserve credit. I didn't go live on Saturday to save John money. This is always my motivation. I didn't go live because I was like, I'm going to save John money. I am such a nice streamer. I deserve so much credit for how nice of a streamer I am. John Jones says, another historical event is U.S. and Japan ex-users suddenly becoming best friends. That has been pretty crazy to watch. For sure. Okay, so yeah, on social media right now, it's everything's fucking crazy. There's so much bullshit that's being posted, and it's hard to filter through it. It's hard to understand what's real and what's not. It's just chaos. It's complete and total chaos. Like, for instance, the fake news outright ignored a massive pro-Trump, pro-Iranian march in Washington, D.C., despite giving wall-to-wall coverage to the paid No Kings protest. Look how many showed up backing Trump in Iran. Real patriots. But this is not discussed. Nobody's going to talk about this because it's all about building a narrative, and you have, low information people that'll just repeat whatever BS they are told. And this is the world that we live in, unfortunately, right now. And on social media, I gotta say, and John freaking Mark says, thanks, Jeremy. I appreciate the savings. Always here, man. Always here to save you some money, brother. Thank you so much. And in no way, shape, or form did I take credit for saving you money with the motivation to have you give me more money. In no way, shape, or form was I doing that. Like, there's no way I did it for that reason. Okay. Zero reason. Packy Proton says, I feel like I could find a lady in Japan so easily, but I'm not that lucky. Well, maybe you are. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. Keep hope alive, brother. But yeah, as far as everything with social media, it's really hard to keep up with it all. So you have this right here. Okay. Look at this. All right. Like the Erica Kirk stuff. Grieving widow, says Owen Benjamin. The problem is that was a post from 2016 that they're circulating. They're essentially trying to say that Erica Kirk is out doing stuff like this when it's a picture from 2016 that they're pushing. If she's so bad, why do you have to fake shit? Why do you have to fake it if she's so evil? Why do you have to make shit up if she's so evil? Like the anti-Erica Kirk shit is some of the most disturbing stuff I've ever seen. It's so fucking bad, man. I mean, as I've said, man, I'm not the biggest fan of hers, but what these people are doing to her and the targeting of her, it might be one of the worst things I've seen. It's so disgusting. You can have whatever opinion you want of her, but the bottom line is, the fact is, her husband was assassinated in front of the fucking world. That's the truth. Everything else can just be your opinion, which is totally fine. But my goodness, man, it's really fucking weird. And I don't understand. I mean, I do understand it. It is that it's getting them a lot of attention on social media to do this stuff. And the audience that they are pandering to don't do any actual research whatsoever. They only are there to hear what they want to hear. But this woman is facing an ungodly amount of hate, man. It really is. And then you have this right here, compilation of how many times Candace Owens has walked back her most outrageous claims surrounding Charlie Kirk's death. Charlie Kirk's death is a very profitable thing to discuss online. It is very profitable to make up theories surrounding his death. It's very profitable to do this.
What about his burial? How come we haven't seen anything about his burial? We saw so much and then we saw nothing. And the reason that's like a big hush-hush secret is because Charlie had a Catholic funeral mass and he is buried in a Catholic cemetery.
But pre the meeting with Erica, you repeatedly questioned why we weren't being told where Charlie Kirk is buried, or even if he has been buried yet. Did you get those answers?
You have the wrong commentator who questioned that. I think that was Milo Yiannopoulos.
What?
You've never questioned, you've never asked where Charlie's buried?
Nope.
Yeah, but if this were on the left and somebody were accusing Charlie Kirk of his wife having murdered him, I assume that you would be talking about it.
Is that what Candace is accusing Erica of?
Yes.
Of murdering her own husband?
She's accusing TPUSA insiders and other members of the right wing, including Seth Dillon, of being involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Yes.
It's just, I don't even know how to respond to it because it just never happened. Realizing that nothing in Charlie's life was real. It's just something that keeps me up at night. Just nothing in his life was real. The assassination of Charlie Kirk was something akin to a regicide, right? The assassination of a king to install a new ruler who the king would have never approved of. It's so crazy.
She has accused us of lying about Charlie wanting Erica to take over for him if he died.
Never happened. And it just so happened that Charlie Kirk kept notebooks and diaries. He was so diligent that he wrote.
Like the Charlie Kirk, again, it happens when people pass away, especially tragically, like, you know, like Charlie Kirk did. It happens all the time. And I say this like just so we can qualify what I'm going to say. As you guys know, I'm a huge Dale Earnhardt fan. You see Earnhardt behind me right there. I'm a huge Dale Earnhardt fan. He obviously died in 2001 Daytona 500. He was the king of NASCAR. I know Richard Petty's the king, but Dale Earnhardt was NASCAR. He was everything to it. After his passing, anytime anything would happen in NASCAR fans would go, if Earnhardt was here, this shit wouldn't be happening. Yes, it would. What the fuck are you talking about? He was just a race car driver. He was the best, but he was just a fucking driver. But there would be people, there would be fans. If one little thing happened, like if NASCAR made up a rule, they would go, if Earnhardt was still alive, this shit wouldn't be happening. It's like, yeah, it would. What are you talking about? And so this idea that like, if Charlie Kirk was still here, he would check Trump on this. He would keep Trump in line. He would keep the GOP in line. Oh, really? Oh, really? Why didn't he stop them from stealing? Why didn't he stop the Democrats from stealing an election? Why didn't he get the GOP in line to make sure they didn't steal a fucking election? Why didn't he stop them from arresting Trump? Why didn't he stop them from attempting to murder Trump? Why didn't they stop all the lawfare? Like this idea that Charlie Kirk was holding all of the keys to the conservative party. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. Like he was a great guy and he built a great business, great community, and he was very important with the youth voting movement within the Republican Party. No doubt about that. But this idea that he's just like involved in everything and he was going to stop all these things. What are you talking about?
Down his succession plan featuring who he wanted to take over for the organization in the event of his untimely death. Like, he just, in the third notebook, he was like, oh, and if I accidentally get shot on campus, here's what you should do. Call Erica. And then after you call Erica, come find this notebook. And if during this process of our imagination, common sense comes on and we're like, oh, but wait, Charlie, wasn't he like a boy genius? He's a pretty bright kid. Wouldn't he have maybe formalized that succession plan outside of like a diary? But no, he wanted to put it in these notebooks. And then the plan was to guilt us, I think, to try to haunt us with the ghost of Charlie's notebooks that we're never going to be allowed to read, but we're supposed to accept that they most definitely read. Like, for sure. Never happened. I knew it was big. I didn't have the players. I certainly didn't suspect Turning Point USA would be, as I believe, involved in a cover-up. And we can talk about what the motives are of that. They could be financial motives. It doesn't necessarily mean they were involved in plotting to kill him. And I've never said that.
Like, she just is saying shit. Unverifiable bullshit that she's saying. It's crazy. And it just keeps going and keeps going. We're going to finish this little clip right here.
Higbee is on the payroll of Turning Point USA beginning in August of this year. So in theory, Cam Higbee, who was laughing off the idea of an assassination attempt, is being paid by the very organization that just had its leader assassinated in broad daylight in front of the entire world. It doesn't necessarily mean they were involved in plotting to kill him. And I've never said that. I was in this aggrieved stage and I really didn't poke my head up until weeks later when I could stop crying about it every second. Charlie Kirk, my friend, is dead. First, this is fantastic that Preborn is doing this. To remind you guys about Pure Talk. Also reminding you guys about American financing. Also reminding you guys about GNO land. Also telling you guys about Just Thrive. You can head over to our website, CandaceOwens.com. You can sign up, buy yourself a hat. I'm not going to stop unless Erica Kirk asks me to stop.
We were told that if we said stop, they would stop. And we said stop. And I'll say it again. Please stop.
Please stop. Please stop lying. But as soon as she tells me what it is I've lied about, I will cease lying immediately.
What? Now it gets worse. Because we all saw the Drewski Erica Kirk parody that he put together that went mega viral. It got, 50, 60, 70, I don't know, 100 million views, whatever. Now, again, it's okay for a black comedian to dress up in whiteface, but it's not okay for a white comedian to do that in blackface. That's racism. That person will get canceled. Erica Kirk has said absolutely nothing about this to my knowledge. However, much like the usual anti-Israel crowd, if you can't find proof, you just make it up. So people are making this up right here. Drewski, a tweet that says, Erica Kirk has sent a cease and desist, trying to sue me over a skit. Little does she know Parody is protected. It's comedy, not defamation. Y'all got to stop trying to take jokes to court. This did not happen. This did not happen. This tweet from Drewski didn't happen. And Erica Kirk sending a cease and desist did not happen. But people shared this as that this was true because they don't do any fucking research. This didn't happen. None of this happened. They want Erica Kirk to be mad, so they're trying to manufacture it. They're trying to manufacture her being mad. They want her to react. And I got to give this woman a massive amount of respect for not biting. I don't know how she does it at this point to not even respond to this insanity, but she doesn't. She has not responded to it. And they want her. Now they're mad that she's not mad. That's where we are now. They are now mad that Erica Kirk isn't mad. It's crazy. It's absolute insanity. And people are like, well, no, I don't. And neither do you. None of us know anything. None of us know a damn thing about Erica Kirk. None of us know anything. You don't know, and I don't know. What I do know is that she has not responded to this shit. What I do know is that her husband was assassinated in front of the world. What I do know is that Charlie Kirk trusted her. The same Charlie Kirk that you claim is the man that was holding everything together and had everything planned out. But at the same time, Charlie Kirk, the guy that all of you clowns are saying had everything figured out and had everything organized, was controlling everything. You same idiots are saying that he was being played by every single person in his inner circle. Make it make sense. Holy fuck. So these people are fucking retarded. They're absolutely stupid. Charlie was holding everything together, guys. He had everything planned out. He was going to be president. He was the smartest man on the planet, and he had answers for everything. Oh, by the way, he was being played by every single person in his inner circle. What? How does that work? These people don't even know what they're saying. They're so stupid. Except for John freaking Murdoch, who sent a 50 and says, no worries, Jeremy. I believe you. I really do. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you, John. Hail to you, brother. Kevin says, too bad we got to go to prison to destroy demons. Neg says, wife is a diehard Candace fan and thinks you are vulgar. So I go to the office without you and she goes to the bedroom with Candace. Is this IDOT's marriage doomed? I am not in the business of giving advice on relationships, but I will say that she's correct. I am very vulgar. So, and I wish you nothing but the best. Prayers up for you. Spirian for a $10 super sticker. Thank you. Let's see. What's up, man? 10 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go. Thank you. I haven't seen you in a while. John Jones says, Candace reminds me of this one friend I had who was a big gaslighter and nitpicker, even when I was going through a tough time. Geez. I just skipped over one super chat. I got to find it really quickly. Hang on. Skywalker DFS says, Owen Schroyer is worse than Candace. He's woke now. I mean, I don't know how you can qualify who's worse or not. I mean, they're all part of the same club at this point in time. That's really what it comes down to. Viking says, I promise not all of us women are that crazy. We are crazy, just not that crazy. Happy Monday. Well, I believe you on that. But yeah, I mean, so I saw the other day that Alex Jones had said he's trying to stop World War III. Okay. Now, as I've said, I love Alex Jones. I respect Alex Jones. Nothing will change the fact that Alex Jones is a legend. Okay. And he's always been a legend. But he is now in his Michael Jordan Wizard years. It's not the same Alex Jones. This is not This is not the 90s Bulls Jordan, what Alex Jones was. Alex Jones is in his Wizards years now. Not the same guy. Doesn't change how awesome Alex Jones was. But yeah, we are at that point now. Now, what's interesting about his comments about World War III is that just 2 weeks ago, he was claiming we were about to go into World War IV. And so you have to ask yourself, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? All right. So right here, he says, I'm trying to stop World War III. The Iran war is a disaster. But he called it World War IV. There it is. Trump is launching World War IV. That was on 3/14. I covered it here. So Trump is launching World War IV, but Alex Jones is trying to stop World War III. Okay. Again, he's in the wizard years, okay? So we just have to accept that for what it is. Nandy for 50 says, interesting, mainstream media did not report on the status of the Pakistan talks between USA and Iran, almost as if it was positive, because, you know, they would report if it was bad. 1,000%. And in fact, let's talk about that right here. Okay?
As the terror Pakistan says, preparing to host talks between the U.S. and Iran. As President Trump says, the terror regime does not have another option, as the Pentagon is reportedly preparing to put troops perhaps on the ground in a few weeks. Retired Navy captain, former Pentagon official Brent Sadler joins us now. Hey, Brent, first off, what do you think happens with those talks? We're not going to talk directly. There's going to be intermediary. Turkey and Pakistan and Egypt are going to be there represented.
Yeah, good morning, Brian. I don't have high confidence that we're going to get anything meaningful, certainly out of the first round or several rounds of these Pakistan-sponsored or hosted peace negotiations. But it does provide some insight as to what the Iranians are willing to give and what the Iranians, I guess, sentiments are. Maybe some insight also on how their government's fracturing. But there's, quite frankly, the United States is in a very strong position. There's nothing that should be given in order to get them to...
Okay, somebody. Holy shit. Not wizard years. He's currently striking out for the Sox. Oh my goodness. This may be the most accurate thing I have heard. And you just corrected me. So for the uninitiated, Michael Jordan retired in the 90s from the Chicago Bulls for a couple of years. He went to play baseball for the White Sox. It was a pretty big disaster. He then returned to the Bulls. They won another three-peat, and then he eventually retired and then, you know, went to play for the Wizards. But honestly, you're correct. You are correct. He is currently, that's where Alex Jones is. Alex Jones is now striking out for the White Sox. Fucking hell, that's a good analogy. Credit where credit is due, sir. Very, very good. Very good.
Agreed to end the hostilities.
Evidently, their president, Presidian, is fighting with the head of the IRGC on next steps. It looks like the ones that are left don't agree on how to go forward. We know there's a huge disconnect between what they're saying about the Gulf states and what they're doing to the Gulf states, and that's hitting them pretty consistently.
No, and this is the type of action that we should be seeing and want to see and encourage. And as the government there starts to splinter and perhaps a form of it that we could live with, that's the one we should be talking with.
So what do you think happens with the Marines, 5,000 that get there, and the thousands from the 82nd? What do you think they should be doing?
Yeah, so there's like...
So again, this right here, obviously, as Nandy was saying, mainstream hasn't really talked about this much because they can't really build a negative narrative around it. So it probably means that it's a very positive thing. But do you know who will be talking negatively about this? Megyn Kelly will be talking negatively about this. Now, I'm not really one to pull up old clips from people because we all change. We all evolve our opinions. That's just being a human being, more information or whatever. But when you are constantly shifting as quickly as people like Megyn Kelly and others are, you start to really look back and you're like, hold on just a minute. So let me bring this up from when Megyn Kelly, I believe, was on NBC News.
Well, the people with me on stage right now are all transgender kids who want others to know it is possible to transition socially with love and support and acceptance within a family and a community. Please welcome 16-year-old Nicole, 12-year-old Daniel, 14-year-old Gia, 15-year-old Landon, and
It's almost like she just it's almost like she just makes up her opinion based on whatever's trending. That's what it seems like to me. But I'm sure she'll tell you how Trump is evil, Iran is a disaster, he's abandoned MAGA, MAGA has abandoned him, it's all over. That's what she's going to tell you.
So there's 3 waves of them. The first group of Marines are already there, about 2,200 of them. I think the Marines are suited for doing forced insertions or shore raids. I think this is what would be a good use to go after Iranian sites where they mass their small boats and their drones to attack shipping, not to stay, to go in and get back out, put Marines on some of the ships. There's 5 U.S. flag ships with U.S. citizens on board crewing them that are stuck in the Persian Gulf. So having a convoy and having those Marines on board visibly shows that the safe passage through the straits is possible. Confidence goes up. As far as the 82nd, the Army, that's, I think, a backstop to places like Kuwait, Bahrain, where we have U.S. forces already based to provide more security and more defenses. But this is not an invasion that's being massed. That would be
now there is something I would like to show you from the No Kings protest, but I can't. Okay, I can't show you this because it has nudity in it. But I'll read it to you. Well, I can at least share this part. I just can't scroll down. Okay, so watch as protesters gather outside of Trump Tower in New York City ahead of Trans Day of Visibility. Under Trump Tower, rallying under their slogan to protect our dolls, to call for the protection of transgender rights. Activists spoke out against reported changes to gender markers on passports and staged a symbolic gender reveal protest, using bold and highly visible actions to draw attention to their concerns. The demonstration comes just days before the Trans Day of Visibility, amplifying ongoing national debates over transgender rights and recognition. And if you scroll down, you're going to see a lot of people naked because they think this is going to help their case, I guess. These are the people that are protesting Trump. What do you expect? These people are fucking retarded. Okay? I don't know if this is an old clip or not. So I want to be clear. I have not gotten this confirmed if it's an old clip or not. But I have to question if this is even AI. All right. I don't know if this is AI. The fact that I don't know kind of tells you where we are. I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is real. I don't know. Here we go. I can't. I don't know if it's real or not. I don't know. Oh, fuck, man. These people are fucking weird, man. Like, I legit just don't know. And look, you would think like there's no way, but I need you to understand that you have to say this has to be AI. I tend to agree, but guess what? This ain't AI. Twitch streamer lives life as a dog sniffs for a spot to use the bathroom, and barks at viewers. Her handlers are responsible for feeding her and taking her on walks. She'll even go to the bathroom outside, but admits she has used a human toilet.
I have to sniff around for the right.
Now, I don't know what this person's politics are, but if you were to guess what this person thinks of Trump, what do you think this person's opinion of Trump is? I'm just saying. What do you think this Of course, we know exactly what this freak would say. We know exactly. My goodness. What in the world? These people are broken. Completely broken. You know who's not broken? Zwanny for a proper 199. And says, peace offering to Nandy for voting against CobraCast last week and beating him out by 0.02 cents. Enjoy, Sweeney. Nandy, are you here? Nandy, do you accept the peace offering from Zwanny? You've got to accept this, Nandy. I know you were mad. I know you were angry, but this is a very nice gesture right here. Okay? It's a very nice. Thank you, Steel Leg, for the raid. I appreciate it, brother. While we're waiting for Nandy to respond to the peace offering, we're going to have to bring some Sydney Sweeney in the house. Okay? There we go. There we go. I appreciate it so much. Everyone else appreciates it as well. Thank you, Zwanny. Boom, a proper 199. Hail to you. By the way, MAGA Man says, I'm old enough to remember when this guy had something worth watching on his show. You've been here the whole fucking show, MAGA Man. You've literally been... You have to be trolling. You have to be... There is no way you are this stupid. There's no way. You have to be trolling at this point. I don't believe you are genuine. I think you're a troll. There's no way you're this stupid. You're here every fucking stream, bro. The hell are we talking about? Oh, man. Now, you want to see someone that hates Trump? Here we go.
Office. Would you like out of office? Would you like JD Vance to be the president?
No,
then?
I would not.
Okay.
Yeah, I would not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who would you like to be the president?
Kamala Harris right now, but she didn't win. But
Can I point out something that we say no kings and no authoritarianism, but Kamala Harris, no one voted for her.
yes, they did. Half the country voted for her. So let's not go there.
No one was voted for her to be the nominee.
Yes, they did.
Isn't that what authoritarian?
You're going down the wrong road right now with me. I wouldn't go any further.
What does that mean?
I'm not going to talk to you anymore. That's what it means.
I just think it's ironic that no one voted for her to be the nominee. They just selected her like a king gets selected, right?
But keep it yourself, okay? Bye. Have a good day. See ya. Take care.
Eva, what's your other sign say?
No, you don't need to see it.
Okay.
No need business.
All right. Out of office.
Yeah.
Would you?
I love how they don't want to address the fact that, yeah, Kamala Harris did not receive a single vote. The American people had no opinion on her becoming the Democratic nominee. None. This is the Democratic Party right here. Look at look, man, we could talk about one thing here, one thing there, whatever. Let's go back to the last 3 Democratic nominees for President of the United States of America. Okay? Bernie Sanders, would have been the nominee for the Democrats. They stole it from him and they gave it to Hillary. Then Bernie cucked like the good cuck that he is. He has no balls. He couldn't stand on anything. So they stole that nomination, okay? We all know what happened in 2020. We all know what happened there. There was always a plan for Biden to get in there so they could control him. So they just elevated Biden. And then they just handed it to Kamala Harris with no primary, nothing. Nobody had any kind of saying into who the nominee for Democrat was. This is 3 straight fucking times with the Democrats. This is what we're dealing with here. Now, if you look at Trump, no question. There's no question who the leader of the Republican Party is. There's no question who the leader of the conservative movement is. There's no question who the leader of MAGA is. Yet, all we hear from the mainstream and from the foreign bots is that MAGA is damaged. MAGA is over. Trump has lost his base. His base is abandoning him. Based on what? Based on what? There's nobody even remotely close to Trump. Not even close. But this is what we continue to deal with constantly. Let me see here. JRL says, hey, Jeremy, I hope you had a great weekend. I hope I'm not being annoying, but did you check out the music tournament yet? Hope you don't use hope they don't use licensed music in Mario movies. Have a blessed day. You're never annoying me, but I do have the list. I have not had time to sit down and go over it yet. Saturday, I did absolutely nothing. I just sat there and watched Peaky Blinders all day. So I was just out of it. That was like my first time really breathing since MegaCon. But yeah, Jessica did forward that over to me, so I do have it. As far as the licensed music, I hope they dial that back from the first Mario movie, for sure, because the Super Mario Galaxy soundtrack is one of the greatest soundtracks ever. Hopefully they'll use a lot of that. We'll see. Where's Nandy? Where's Nandy? Aberjam says, check out Amy Kozik's impression of Candace. I don't know who that is. MAGA Mike says, a voter for Trump, not podcasters, not streamers, no TV show, or not TV show hosts, not ex-influencers. I trust a man who has hardly ever let me down and wins. Me and you both. And then MAGA Mike came in and says, I hardly share for games, but I wanted to give recommendation to my fellow 199, Crimson Desert and Toxic Commando. I've lost myself in both. I've heard good things about Crimson Desert. Some mixed things, but generally good. So, but thank you for the recommendation. Uber Viking says that make institutions mandatory again. Mod Eric says that we are all dumber for looking at this dog lady, and Jeremy cannot afford to get any dumber. Still Leg of History says, you're welcome. Just hit 945 subs, 55 from 1K. Let's freaking go. Vlad the Man says, to be fair, Jeremy, after watching your streams, I feel like pissing outside now. If I have the option, I piss outside all the time. Like, it's just the manly thing to do. I mean, who pees in a toilet? Like, no, you pee outside, you know? No bullshit, you know, just nature. It's awesome. That's the manly thing to do, man. Just pee outside. Joe C. says that media celebrated 8 million No Kings protesters, 78 million voted for Trump. Now they're 70 million short to make a difference. What a joke. 100%. Dan Bass says, I wish it was socially acceptable to wear diapers. Did you mean to type that, brother? Like, I hope you, like, did you mean to type that? Because I don't want to highlight it in front of, like, 2,300 people. But I mean, did you mean to type that? Okay, yeah. Sorry, I figured, man. So hang on. Shit, wrong account. Okay, all right, we're good now. All right, no problem. I figured. Delete it. Okay, all right. We'll get that out, and nobody will see it. Nobody, we're good now. So it's all good. Average Ab says, Oh, that's the Tucker guy. Okay. That guy. Yes. I will check that out then. Surly SOB says depends. If I'm at a friend's house, I don't go in their yard. I use their sink. That is a thoughtful person right there. That is a very thoughtful person. I respect that. Don't you wear adult diapers, Jeremy? No, I mean, I'm most of the audience, I'd say 99.999% of the audience doesn't care, but I sometimes I just free ball it, you know? So let's see. Quentin says Return of the King is the worst of the three movies. Fellowship is the best. I mean, I think Return of the King is the best, but I mean, they're all three perfect movies. So I just, it is what it is. I don't think you're wrong to say Fellowship is the best. I think a lot of people feel that way. Let's see here. Nas says, have you seen the script leak for Breaking Guthrie season 3? They found a body in the canal, but it's not Nancy. Dun, dun, dun. Breaking Guthrie is just completely just gone away. Nobody's watching it. Nobody's talking about it. It's completely over now. No one wants to hear that. I know. That's what I said. Let me see. Okay, we got that one. Check this out. This is Trump from back in the day right here.
But as far as Trump is concerned, our allies are only part of the problem. The real culprit is Iran.
Why couldn't we go in and take over some of their oil, which is along the sea?
How would you do that? Would you send in the Marines? Would you take a chance in a war?
Let them have Iran. You take their oil. That's what
How?
How?
I mean, do we want a war? What do you mean we
in,
take their oil?
You go in. You're
How
gonna have
do
a
we
war,
go
Barbara.
in?
You're going to have a war by being weak.
Okay, how do we go in? What do we do?
Excuse me.
Yeah?
You're going to have a war, and it's going to start in the Middle East.
What if the Soviet Union said, you do this to Iran, we're going to come in?
I don't believe they'd do it. The next time Iran attacks this country, go in and grab one of their big oil installations, and I mean grab it and keep it, and get back your losses, because this country has lost plenty because of Iran.
But Donald Trump abandoned MAGA. That's what the podcast bros are saying. That's what Joe Rogan's telling me. That's what Theo Vaughn is telling me. That's what Owen Benjamin's telling me, and Ian Carroll and Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson. That's what they're telling me. 47-second video. That's correct, Nandor. 47-second video. But yeah, I'm being told that he has abandoned everything. Again, just believe your own eyes and ears. Okay? Simple as that. This is not complicated at all. Never has been, never will be. Now, people are out there complicating it for sure. Because that's, again, it pays good money. I do have to give some blame to the Trump administration for a couple of things, though. Many of the people that are pushing anti-Trump nonsense are people that the Trump administration embraced. They brought them to the White House. They gave them access. Trump did interviews with all of them, and they've all turned on him. They've all started to lie because it's getting them a lot of traction online. And again, like, why did you embrace all of these people? Why? Why did Andrew Schultz get an interview with President Trump? Why? Why did Theo Vaughn get one? I understand why Joe Rogan got one, because he's Joe Rogan. You know, why did Aiden Ross get one? Multiple times, some of these guys. They got invited to the White House. They got legitimized by this. Why did the Nelk Boys get one? The Nelk Boys don't know shit about anything. Tim Pool got one. Tim Pool is not a Trump guy. Now, again, you know, you can say, well, you know, he did it and he won the election by getting out there with the outreach. And fair is fair. He did win. But he also embraced many of them after he won. And they were all phonies and liars. All of them were. So it's just frustrating, man. It's very, very frustrating. Not surprising though. But can I show this? I guess I can show this. Is this recent? Is this from the No Kings protest? Oh my God. Bro, these people are fucking weird. And again, man, like, I don't. How does this happen? How? How do these people get taken seriously by the media? It's wild. My goodness. Right here, Caroline Levette says, Trump, or the reporter says, Trump says we're ahead of schedule. He laid out a 4 to 6 weeks of the conflict. Now we're in week 5. How do you square kind of those two? 4 to 6 weeks. You just said we're on day 30 of the operation. Let's hear what she had to say.
Trump says we're ahead of schedule in achieving his military objectives in Iran. He laid out that 4 to 6 week timetable for this conflict, and we're now within week 5. So how do you square kind of those two?
Well, 4 to 6 weeks estimated timeline. Again, you just said we're on day 30 of the operation. I just provided you with some of the updates from the Pentagon directly in achieving the objectives, and the military has been enormously successful. I think we should all be very proud of our armed forces for what they have done over the past 30 days. The mission will continue until the objectives are achieved, and that 4 to 6 week timeline does remain right now. I don't have any updates for you on that.
How do you square the new buzzword phrase? Yep. Again, man, the media wants Trump to tell them exactly what he's doing. They want exact coordinates. They want exact decisions. They want exact everything. It's insane that this is what they expect. And they're not going to get it. And the more that they don't get what they want, the more that they behave like children. Ridiculous. Good Lord. There's another one. This is very likely to succeed. Right here, you have
President Trump giving an update.
Trump is threatening to obliterate Iranian sites right now.
Moments ago, President Trump giving an update on negotiations with Iran, threatening destruction if a deal is not made.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yinks is live in Tel Aviv with the very latest. Trey, good morning.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. Operation Epic Fury has now entered week 5, and the United States continues to hammer the Iranian regime. Moments ago, President Trump took to Truth Social to give an update about the situation. He said, quote, the United States of America is in serious discussions with a new and more reasonable regime to end our military operations in Iran. Great progress has been made, but if for any reason a deal is not shortly reached, which it probably will be, and if the Hormuz Strait is not immediately open for business, we will conclude our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all of their electric generating plants, oil wells, and Karg Island, and possibly all desalination plants, which we have purposely not yet touched. Now, the president's comments come after a series of U.S. and Israeli strikes over the weekend that targeted Iran's steel manufacturing sites and nuclear development facilities. Reports indicate the president is considering a limited ground operation inside of Iran, following the arrival of the USS Tripoli, manned with 3,500 troops, including 2,500 Marines, to the CENTCOM area of operation. The president was asked about the status of military plans yesterday, saying this.
We've had very good negotiations today with Iran, getting a lot of the things that they should have given us a long time ago. We'll see how it works out, but they're very good. Moving along, very nice.
The things they should have given him a long time ago. Now, again, one thing that gets lost in all of this is that the people that are crying about Trump and war and all this, you do realize that they were negotiating for months and months and months and months. And Trump kept warning them and warning them and warning them that if they don't make a deal, something's going to happen. None of these clowns want to have that conversation. None of them want to discuss that. None of them want to point that out because they're all liars. Simple as that.
Are you considering still putting boots on the ground, and would you do that without going to Congress?
I just have lots of alternatives. We have tremendous numbers of ships over there. We don't need them all because of, the power. We're ahead of schedule with Iran.
As the war grinds on, Iran is continuing its ballistic missile attacks against Israel, focusing attacks on southern Israel in recent days. A chemical plant outside the city of Beersheba was hit with a missile fragment yesterday, causing toxic black smoke to spew from the facility. The area around the plant was evacuated. With these strikes ongoing, a spokesperson for Iran's IRGC talked over the weekend about the war and President Trump.
Trump threatens an issue one morning and retreats that same evening. He talks about negotiations for a while and decides to continue the war hours later.
Welcome to the art of the deal, clown.
We also have new video this morning from the northern Israeli city of Haifa, where part of an Iranian missile slammed into an oil refinery. You can see the fire there as the Iranians are going after more energy targets across the region. And when the IRGC is threatening President Trump, they don't realize the president wants them to be confused about the military operations. There is a large U.S. force buildup across the region and many options on the table for President Trump as this war moves forward. Guys?
So, Trey, how important is it to get that internet up, somehow be able to get the Iranian people to be able to communicate with each other? Do you think we're making any progress in that area?
Yeah, Brian, at this point, no. And it's a major concern for Israeli officials. They are sounding the alarm about the internet blackout across Iran that has now reached more than 700 hours. Iranian civilians not able to organize.
Yeah. Why are his plans hard to understand? His enemy. It's just like, God. And then the Dave Smiths of the world will then play that clip from Iran and going, look, even they're confused as to what Trump is trying to do. And it's like, yes, of course. What the fuck, man? Like, imagine watching a fucking football game and going, the opposing coach was confused because the other team's coach would not tell him what they were going to do. And getting upset about that. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
And speak with each other inside of the country. And also the extent of the damage from these U.S. and Israeli strikes isn't completely known due to the internet blackout. Earlier today, I spoke with a senior Israeli intelligence official who said in part, quote, this is a blackout on truth. The regime is hiding reality from its own people. They don't want the Iranian people to see how badly they're getting hit. This official went on to say cutting the internet stops people from communicating, from sharing what's really happening, and from organizing. There are major questions about how the Iranian regime is also cracking down on internet access, and we are told that they are jamming the Starlink terminals inside of the country that Iranians previously used to communicate with the outside world.
You know,
Guys?
Trey, you talked about the need for the internet in order to have some sort of organic organization for what's going to happen if and when the regime is toppled. But over the weekend, we saw that Israel bombed.
I see, this is one of the NPC updates right here. So, no new wars, my ass. So just so we're clear, your stance is that under no circumstance should the United States of America have any foreign conflict in any way, shape, or form because it will hurt your feelings, correct? Is that what our stance is? So under no circumstance should we ever, under any circumstance, go to war or have any foreign conflicts? Should we make that announcement to all of our enemies right now? Hey guys, hey everyone, real quick. No matter what you do, no matter how much you attack, no matter how many Americans you kill, no matter how many threats you make, no matter if you're building a nuclear weapon, we're not going to go to war. It's not a big deal. Hey, no wars, okay? We're good. No, we're not going to do it. We're not going to respond. You're good. That's your stance. You are what we call a vagina, a big, wet, sloppy vagina who does not understand that simple term, peace through strength. Peace through strength. You are a vagina, okay? And not a very good looking one. Basically, you are the type of vagina that looks like a wadded up piece of bologna that someone took a hammer to. Okay, that's the type of vagina you are. Okay. Mark of reality 450 Says all the people complaining about war are the same people who were saying Donald J. Trump was stabbing the Iranian people in the back by not attacking. He had promised a response if the regime kept up their elimination of protesters. 100%. 100%. Oh my God. I wish I could find out. I know there was one of the podcast bros when Trump initially, because this is not a surprise. None of this is a surprise. Ultimately, the problem with the podcast bros is that they believe that they are entitled to information. All right. They believe they are entitled to all information. Trump knows that the media doesn't deserve any of the details as to what is going on, what the motivations are, because what's going to happen the moment that the media gets that information? The media is going to run with that information. They're going to publicize that information. And do you know what that information does? That information puts our soldiers in harm's way. So I know podcast bros, Mr. Dave Smith, who says, "Oh, I'm so worried about our soldiers. I'm so worried. I can't believe that we're going to have soldiers and people are going to be hurt." That same Dave Smith is upset because Trump hasn't given him his plan. It's unbelievable, man. It really is. But anyway, I do remember one of them going, if Trump doesn't follow through, once he told the Iranian protesters to fight back, if he doesn't follow through, that's going to be a terrible situation. Well, he did follow through, and you're mad about that too. Skywalker DFS says, Lord of the Rings and Coldplay are gay. You're just trying. You're just trolling. It's an obvious troll. Trajak says, try 5 months with no flush shitter. Vlad the Man says, I hope you don't talk about Trump talking about Rosie. Quentin says, Chrono Trigger greater than Final Fantasy X, 7, Titanfall 2, and Fortnite. I mean, I'm not going to say you're wrong. Chrono Trigger is one of the greatest games ever made. Uber Viking says, I am old enough to remember the hostages coming home in the early 80s. Iran must be dealt with. If not now, when? If not under Trump, then who? Well, you see, unfortunately, you misunderstand, okay? You misunderstand. So Trump is bad because he's dealing with a 47-year problem of anti-American behavior, including thousands of Americans being killed, threats, building a nuclear weapon. And Trump is bad for dealing with that. However, Joe Biden and Barack Hussein Obama are good because Barack Hussein Obama and Joe Biden helped fund this radical Islamic terrorist regime. That means they're good. Trump man bad for actually dealing with the problem. Barack Hussein Obama, Joe Biden good for funding the radical Islamic terrorist group. That's the logic we're dealing with right now. Do you remember Dave Smith crying and whining about Joe Biden? Let me see if I can find it again. Was it like $6 billion or whatever it was? Yeah, right here. Do you remember the podcast bros being upset about this? Any of the podcast bros that are upset about Trump's actions, did you hear them talking about this? Biden's $6 billion ransom payment to Iran fuels their terror machine. I don't remember Dave Smith crying about that for 7 straight months. I don't remember, Joe Rogan talking bad about this. I don't remember Megyn Kelly talking about this for 3 straight months. That's interesting, isn't it? And this happened in 2023. 2023. You know, when Trump had his election stolen from him. But Trump man bad. Trump man really bad. A-Rod says that Trump needs Iran to believe he'll order an invasion, gives him leverage. Correct. A boy named Blue says, starting a new workout routine to help with height. Wish me luck. Got to drink a lot of water. So give me a swig of water for the working man. Swig of water for the working man. Hail to you, brother. Maga Mike says, Trump ran on peace through strength. People didn't know what strength part meant. So yeah, if you want peace, prepare for war. Correct. Do they not know what, again, I don't love on the surface, I don't love that we're in Iran, but it's also necessary. There's a lot of things that I'm not in love with that are necessary in life. And so this is just a necessary step that we are having to take. And I just hope that Trump has a full plan to get us out of this situation sooner than later. And I think he does. I believe he does. I trust that he does. Surly SOB says, I believe Trump told us about a cat by that name. Whatever would you be talking about?
Or her cat was named Vagina.
I still can't believe he said that shit. Peters is at the risk of sounding insane. Screw peace through strength, peace through tyranny. Epic. All good, man. Vault 199 Gaming says, no new wars. People say a war in East Europe is good. Zachary says, I bet if we went to war with Israel, some of these people would sing a different tune. Of course they would, because they're not really against war. Rooster, what they are is they are against, they're for whatever gets them the most attention online. Pac-Nanima says, missed two my previous super chats, one more tax, and why Trump sending troops while in talks. Did I don't like on this stream, Pac-Nanimus? Headset Oracle says, you paint a vivid picture with your words. Now I'll never look at baloney the same way again. Yikes. Phil says, Trump is literally helping more brown people right now than the left ever has done. Maga Mike says, someone brought up a great point. Isolationists like Dave Smith would have their have let the Third Reich take over Jerome and eventually attack America at home. Yeah, I'm shocked that people actually listen to anything that he says, but it is what it is. You're welcome to listen to whoever you want to listen to, I guess. But I am shocked that people listen to that guy. But they do. So congratulations, I guess. All right, let's finish this off right quick.
2 universities in Tehran, and concerns me on 2 levels. And I'd like to get
I was wondering what you were talking about. Okay.
Now they've said,
thank you,
okay,
Mike.
you bombed these universities. Now American and Israeli universities are now possible targets. So that's a concern. But also, if you bomb universities, you might anger the very people that you want to have organized, which is primarily young people who want to overthrow this government. Is that something that's being discussed in addition to the problem with the internet?
It's an incredibly delicate situation on the ground inside of Iran. And the president, in his post to Truth Social just last hour, made very clear there are a variety of targets that the United States has decided not to hit, giving these negotiations a chance to succeed. But the president's also been very clear if the Iranians are not willing to make a good faith agreement and come to the table with serious concessions about their ballistic missile program, their nuclear program, and support of regional proxies that threaten U.S. forces, that these other targets are going to be struck. And so the president maintains a variety of options when it comes to the targets inside of Iran.
Jeremy needs to take over NASCAR. I think Michael Jordan's the one that's going to be taking over NASCAR. I don't think I can compete with MJ. So, but it seems like Michael Jordan's taking over. So.
And again, the reality is that the Iranian regime is getting hit so hard that they're afraid for the world to see the aftermath of these U.S. and Israeli strikes. And that's part of the reason we are told by officials here in Israel that they are cracking down on internet access. And that's why Israeli officials believe it's so important to get the internet up in Iran so that the world can see the aftermath of these U.S. and Israeli strikes.
Real quick, Trey, how are the people seeing the propaganda videos inside of? Is that through the internet? Like, what system are they using for the people in Iran to see those videos?
So there is still state media that is operating inside of Iran, but it certainly can't be trusted. And That, again, is why it is so important to have this internet access so that people can consume objective information about what's happening. Remember, there's quiet support for what President Trump ordered with Operation Epic Fury. Earlier this year, more than 30,000 Iranian civilians were slaughtered by their own regime. They took to their streets of their country protesting peace.
What? I thought it was a really peaceful area. There was no problems. What are you talking about? And by the way, I was told that, like, what's her name from the Young Turks? That one chick. But I was told we can't believe that number. We cannot believe that number. It's more like 12 people or something like that.
Peacefully against the government, and they were met with live ammunition. And so that is certainly a concern for these people in Iran who previously were demonstrating in the streets of their country, but their access to information is very limited. And so we know the Israelis have used their intelligence apparatus to try to get information to the Iranian people. But the bottom line here is they don't even understand the extent of what is happening in their own country. And certainly the world isn't able to get a firm grasp on the aftermath of these U.S. and Israeli strikes. But moving forward, we're looking at a variety of things here. One has to do with the internet access in Iran. The second has to do with the pressure that the United States is continuously applying to the Iranian regime with these daily and often hourly strikes. And third, this question about if the Iranians are willing to negotiate in good faith. The president has indicated there are individuals within the regime who are willing to talk at this point, given the fact that the United States and Israel have taken out dozens of senior Iranian officials. But the question is if they are willing to make a good faith agreement. And once again, the president being very clear, he is giving the Iranians an olive branch. He's giving them an off-ramp in this conflict. And he was very clear in that post on Truth Social, if they do not take this diplomatic option, they will face serious consequences.
I hope they understand that. Thanks so much, Trey. Appreciate it.
We know when the negotiation is going well because they live. When they don't live, then we know the negotiation isn't going so well. So we'll be following to see.
I'm Steve. That's a pretty good point. But I will kind of follow up on what I said earlier. That right now, this is as bad as I have seen the social media response to all of this. It is the information that's out there is so horrible that I don't know what is to, I don't know who to trust anymore and who not to trust from that perspective. There are so many people out there that are just running with whatever they can run with, and they're just not being genuine. I feel like the only guy, the only prominent guy that I feel is kind of trustworthy right now is that's been doing this for a long time. It's Crowder. And I don't watch Crowder that much, but feels like Crowder might be one of the only ones. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy how many of these people are just turning on Trump and just spinning whatever they can. Alex Jones is out there doing it now. Man, it's just crazy. So, propaganda wars, yes, it absolutely is. Big time. Traders for the clicks. Yeah. What is this right here? What rights have you lost under Trump? What is this? Is this Dean Withers?
What rights have you lost under Trump?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you the things that I'm scared about doing.
Answer the fucking question.
What rights have you lost under Trump?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you the things that I'm scared about doing.
No. Tell me what rights you lost. Don't tell me what you think. Tell me what rights you've lost.
Sure. What do you mean by right?
Under the American Constitution, what rights have you lost in this country?
Okay. Well, I'm a white man, so I haven't lost any. But
okay,
that would.
Oh God, dude! Oh my God!
No.
I'm gonna finish, Ron. I need to finish.
You're race baiting.
No, I'm not. I need to finish my sentence.
You are.
I'm a white man. I have not lost any of my rights. Now, if I were to be a white woman, I would have lost my right to access healthcare in 36 of our 50
How is
states.
that?
If I'll explain later. If I were a black woman, then I would have lost my right to liberty, because now DHS is authorized, and using somebody's race is an identifiable factor to make a detention for a suspicion of them being an undocumented immigrant. If I was an individual of any gender, any sex, any race, born to parents that were undocumented immigrants, no fucking way. I'm going to talk to you about that later. That's crazy. Then I would have literally lost my constitutional right to birthright citizenship after Donald Trump signed Executive Order number 14160 into effect. Or even, if I was a married woman, okay, who didn't have a passport, didn't have the money to get one, and my birth certificate has the last name I was born with, not the one I assumed from my husband, okay, if the SAVE Act were to pass, then I would have temporarily lost my right to vote. We could talk about these rights all day. I think that the right to freedom of speech is a really big one for people in journalism and media. Donald Trump is directing the FCC to not renew the licenses of people who negatively report on the war in Iran. Okay, that's a First Amendment.
What
right
does that
violation.
have to do with your
If,
rights?
if I was trans, I would have lost the right
you're
to join the
mumbling on
military.
again. You're just mumbling on with bullshit, Dean. What rights have you personally lost since Trump's been elected? Tell me what rights you've lost.
None, because like Trump, I'm a white man.
Thank you. So you're saying that blacks, Hispanics,
black people,
Mexicans,
black people,
Italians,
let's be clear.
Polish, they all lost rights in this country. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And if they did, what rights have they lost?
Yeah, like I told you, black and brown people have predominantly lost.
So they can't walk down the street, or they'll be arrested. A black man or a Hispanic?
Actually,
no, you're full of shit, and you
Trump
know it.
literally authorized DHS to use racial profiling for the apparent identification of undocumented
bullshit.
immigrants.
You know that's bullshit, Dean.
No, it's actually
what
not.
rights have any Americans
Bro,
lost
whoa.
since, bro?
I'm
Nothing.
telling you, then you just called it all bullshit.
It is bullshit. You're speaking bullshit, and you know it. So
Would you
tell
like a
me,
source?
under the Constitution of the United States of America,
Holy shit. So his answers all were basically if this, if that. You have no one's lost any rights. No legal citizen of the United States of America has lost any rights. And in fact, as I've said, women have more rights in America than men at this point. That's just the truth. Women have more rights because, women have the ability to, get an abortion, and a man has no say-so on that. A man has zero say-so on it. Zero. Not one. Have no rights, have nothing on that. Woman has all the power in the world. And as I've said, I haven't said this. I can't remember the first person that said this was, but was it Dave Chappelle who said that if women are going to have a right to choose, then a man should have a right to choose if he's going to pay for the child. Now, I don't think that's a correct answer, by the way. It's battling nonsense with nonsense, though. And I guarantee you that women would have a problem if the man in the situation had the choice to say, okay, you want to have the kid? I'm not going to pay for it. I guarantee you feminists would have a big fucking problem with that. The people that say the right to choose would have a big problem if men had the right to choose. They would have a big problem with that. But ultimately, I think the responsibility falls on the individuals. That if you get pregnant, your responsibility is to bring that child into this world and raise it. And if for some reason you feel you can't, at least, let's get that kid a proper home. That's the simple solution right there. That's the simple solution. And if you can't, well, then do what most of my haters do. Just use your hand. You won't get nobody pregnant that way. Okay? So, Pagnanimous says you're on target on Kirk. He wasn't Superman, but he was very active coalition, glued behind the scenes, an active barrier to infighting. And without him, 24 stolen. Yeah, I mean, I think that Charlie Kirk was a really solid guy, genuinely good dude by all accounts. And I think he had major connections. I think he had major influence for sure. But I think that a lot of that's just being overblown and overhyped for various amount of reasons. But it doesn't take away the fact that he was a solid dude. Tay says, Jeremy's almost there, guys. So close. Almost. Red Walker says, speaking of Fox, I saw a recent Larry Fink interview with Brett Baer. He admitted the woke era is a failed experiment. Well, I don't know. I mean, listen, I think there's a lot of good entertainment from all fronts. I think we have great movies to look forward to this year. I think there's good video games. I think there's good television series. I also think that a lot of those things that I just mentioned are probably going to have elements of wokeness in them for sure. So we're not completely over that by any means, but we are in a better place from an entertainment side than we have been in the last, decade. We're in a much better place. And I'm sure a lot of that does have to do with the fact that Trump has shifted the culture, but it doesn't mean it's over. There's plenty of woke stuff that's still going to happen. Plenty of it. Black Snape is a gold mine for grifting. Absolutely. Let's see. Xiong the Great says that Tim is full of faults. Best amazingly abandoning Trump hasn't been one of them. When did this become the cat turd podcast? I don't know. I guess it's always been that, if that's your take. I don't care. Like if one opinion of mine makes you unhappy, I don't care. I don't care. If I have one opinion that suddenly shifted you to thinking I'm something else, then I don't care. Have the fucking opinion. Cry. Be fucking mad. I don't care. Quentin says, Elway and Rogers are way better than Brady. Hashtag refs. You know you're lying on that one. You know you are. Pagnanimous is not current stream, previous to. One more tax was last night, around the 20th, last one. Guess I should have gone with X-Wing sucks tax. I'm sorry. I will be playing again tonight, I think. I got to see what Jay's up to. Vault 199 says, Democrat Congressman Andrew May blabbed about military plans to the media in 1942 for clout, getting over 1,000 deployed servicemen wasted immediately. But why won't Trump tell us all of his plans? Jeremy's taste in movies is trash. Does that mean that you just disagree with my taste in movies? So you think Lord of the Rings is trash? Because I think Lord of the Rings is the greatest movies ever made. Do you think that The Empire Strikes Back is a terrible movie? Do you think The Dark Knight is terrible? Do you think Man on Fire is terrible? If you think all of those movies are terrible, then your taste in movies sucks, my friend. Okay? So there you have it. So you think all of those movies are bad, what I just mentioned. Holy fuck, you have terrible opinions. I thought Interstellar was the greatest movie ever. There's a difference. See, people don't know how to compartmentalize things. Interstellar is my favorite movie. Lord of the Rings are the greatest movies ever made. Like, that's just, you can't really deny that. Lord of the Rings are the greatest movies ever made. Interstellar is my personal favorite movie. But Quinn says libs should have to work Thanksgiving at a grocery store. Skywalkers is not trolling. I think we can agree Coldplay is gay. Lord of the Rings, all they do is walking. Even the trees start walking. You got that from Clerks too. One of my favorite comedies of all time. Man on Fire is awful. Lord of the Rings is boring, and I fell asleep during Interstellar. I will gladly have terrible movie opinions if it differs from yours. Pagnanimous says Duke blows tax. Voldemort 199 says Alex Jones is turning on Trump because Trump is breaking all of his promises. What promise has Trump broken? I'll wait. I'll wait. Tell me what promises Trump has broken. Babu says, have you seen the Bass Windu, These Clones Ain't Loyal video? I don't think I've seen that one. Mass deportation. Oh, you mean the thing that the leftist judges keep blocking him on? Okay. Okay. Patriotic Eagle says, if you had told me 10 years ago that one man would break the entire political party, I would not believe you. And yet he has. Let's see. I think he means Alex Jones promises. I don't think so. It's literally judges. Thank you, Jeremy. Yes, it is. And again, these people are stupid. No new wars or whatever. How do you qualify a new war? 47 years doesn't seem like a new war to me, but I guess we can all make up shit. Mark Reale says, talking about pregnancy rights, how about required DNA testing before taking a man's money? Listen for the scream. Oh, there will be plenty of them. Pagnanimous says, and Charlie Kirk is why we have Anna Paulina Luna. He recruited her, got her to run, mic drop. That's his greatest accomplishment right there. Quentin says, top 3 comedies, Tropic Thunder, Ghostbusters, Talladega Nights. I mean, off the top of my head, I am going to say, let's see, hang on. I missed a super chat. I got to find it really quick. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Office Space. I love Office Space. Office Space is legendary. I love Clerks and Clerks 2. I love both of those movies so much. 40-Year-Old Virgin is going to be up there, and Step Brothers. Off the top of my head, those are the ones right there. So Office Space, Clerks 2, and Clerks 1. Step Brothers and 40-Year-Old Virgin. Those are going to be some of my top ones off the top of my head right there. Benchwarmers is actually great. Benchwarmers is great. Super Troopers, love Super Troopers. Joe C says President Trump never campaigned on no more wars. He campaigned on no more forever wars. Media and internet channels are distorting the truth. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Welcome to the internet. Welcome to the internet. I'll be your guide. That's essentially where we are with this. Idiocracy is a documentary now. It is. Talladega Nights is great. Team America World Police is definitely up there. I love Team America World Police. Jeremy forgets all the super chats. I don't forget any of the super chats. I've read every super chat up to this point. I would never, ever leave a super chat behind. Well, at least I try. At least I try. Vince Vaughn's new comedy is actually pretty good. I haven't seen it. Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood is legendary. Taco Woman Sandy Ravage says Clerks 2 was good except for that rooftop dance scene. I love Clerks 2. I love that movie, man. It's definitely one of my favorites. 40-Year-Old Virgin is up there. Yes, it is. Fantastic. Ministry of Ron Rumble says the media won't dare to bring up the U.S. talks with Iran because they spent the last 2 weeks mocking Trump for merely suggesting it was happening. Waffle Masters is on Jeremy's soul. Fox's dad, either in flashback or this before he dies, will be voiced by Tom Cruise. We'll see. We'll see. Mod Eric says last year alone, Muslims killed 500,000 Christians in Nigeria alone. Media is silent. It is a genocide. They're not going to. But the podcast bros, oh, that's right. They're not talking about it either. So I figured it out. When I switch away from my screen, it freezes my camera for some reason, and I don't know why. But whatever. We'll figure out why that happened later. There's nothing I can do about it right now. So, Tommy Boy's good. R.I.P. to Chris Farley. So this right here, dude, I have seen this video more times than I can count. Okay. This chick has been all over Twitter right here. This video has been all over Twitter. This now has 28 million views. Everybody is commenting on this video.
This is your friendly reminder that immigration without assimilation is invasion. Got it? This is your
Nobody cares what she's saying, by the way.
friendly reminder that immigration without assimilation is invasion. Got it? This is
So no one actually cares what she's saying. But everybody is... The quote tweets are crazy. Let me see if I can pull the quote tweets up. Actually, I got to be careful because we are on Twitter. So let me pre-screen before I pull the quote tweets up. Post activity. Look at the look at the first quote tweet. All right, look. I'm gonna be blunt honest. I'd fuck the shit out of you. That's literally the first quote tweet. All right, that's it. Oh, the internet, man. The internet. White people are in the quotes telling her to do porn. Shut up and do. Oh, the internet. The internet. Your name is Patel. Don't tell me about immigration. Just leave. Oh, man. Yep, that's all. That's nobody cares, bro. It's the internet. It's just there to talk shit, man. Let's see. Vice pretends says this is not a war. The War Powers Act of 1973 limits the president conflicts to 60 to 90 days. Anything after requires congressional approval, which means an official war. Yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, these are military actions, you know, but people don't know what the meaning of war is. I served in the lobbies of modern warfare too. So I know what the depths of hell is like. And it wasn't Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. The depths of hell was actually retail on Black Friday. That's the depths of hell. And I hope none of you ever have to go and experience that. But the depths of hell are working retail on a Black Friday. And this is why I do credit my retail time with training me to not say gamer words on stream, at least not very often, because the amount of times that I had to bite my tongue when some obese Karen was screaming at me about prices that I had no control over, and I had to sit there and go, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am. I apologize, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I agree. Yes, ma'am. I'm so sorry. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I agree. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, Tay-Tay with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Tay-Tay. Ducky says, did you see Black Conservative Perspective's new video on the Canada NDP convention called Ultra Woke Overlord? Super funny. I have not seen that one. Quentin says, top 3 sports any given Sunday, Major League Field of Dreams. You gotta put Remember the Titans in there. Remember the Titans is top tier. Okay. Remember the Titans is always going to be one of my favorite sports movies for sure. So Happy Gilmore is going to have to be up there as well. The Replacements is actually a really good one. The Replacements is a good one. Let me see what you're talking about on this. Is this what you're talking about here?
Microphone 2, are you on this resolution?
Holy fuck. Is this it right here?
Microphone 2, are you on this resolution?
Yes.
Microphone 2, please.
My name is Mastura Tasneem. My pronouns are she, they. I'm from Ontario. Hello, bonjour. As we conduct this convention today and the past 2 days, right now there's discussions of 10,000 American men and women being sent to Iran, being deployed just to be part of this bloodbath. Canada cannot and will not be part of the legacy of blood that was built in Iraq, in Palestine, and now in Iran. This is a no question debate. I call this question, Madam and Chairs. Thank you.
Your point's quite well made, Speaker. I'll again thank delegates not to call me Madam Chair or Madame la Présidente. I'm a non-binary person. My pronouns are they, them, and their. Chair is sufficient.
Oh my God. How is this real? How is this real? Oh no. Oh no.
Your point's quite well made, Speaker. I'll again thank delegates not to call me Madam Chair or Madame la Présidente. I'm a non-binary person. My pronouns are they, them, and their. Chair is sufficient. And with regret, you've spoken to the resolution. It's not open to you to also call the question. If the question is the will of the House, someone else must call it because we heard from you in substantive debate.
Boy. So we got to talk about the Democrat Party. And no, I do not mean the current Democrat Party in the United States of America. I'm talking about what the Democrats are probably going to look like, what they'll be sounding like in about 2 years, right?
100%, dude. This is where we were heading. This is what gets... Social media has poisoned so many people's brains. I've talked about this a lot, and I will continue to talk about this because it's important for people to understand. Perspective is important, and we get wrapped up in tunnel vision way too much. It's happened to me. It's happened to you. If you spend a lot of time on social media, you get wrapped up in tunnel vision, and your brain gets rewired. And right now, people are losing focus on how close we came to dealing with this type of world. If it was not for Trump, this is where the United States of America would be. I would not be here on YouTube because I would probably have to get a real job because I wouldn't be able to have any opinion whatsoever anymore. If Kamala won, if Hillary won, we would not be in this position.
With the primary season for the 2028 election, my prediction is that most Democrats in the United States of America are going to sound like these Democrats from Canada, right? We're talking about the new Democrat Party and their leadership convention that happened in Canada. Now, the reason why I am talking about this is because, again, this is a preview of what the American Democrat Party is going to look like, because the American Democrat Party is already far left. And as I've been warning people, if you just want to see what Democrats are going to turn this country into, all you got to do is just look at Canada, Europe, right? The UK. Yeah, I mean, they made it clear. They want our country to be like countries that are inferior to ours, right? I mean, let's be real. They want our country to be like Canada. They want our country to be like the EU, right? They want us to be like the UK. And it's like, why would we want to be like that? But this is what they want. Okay. So again, if you want to know the direction that the Democrat Party is taking this country into, all you gotta do is just look at countries like Canada, right? Which is struggling heavily when it comes to the economy.
Joining me now is senior economist with the Canadian Labour Congress, D.T. Cochrane. Thank you, sir, for being here. So Canada lost roughly 84,000 jobs last month and employment ticking up to 6.7%. What do these numbers tell us about where the labor market could be heading?
The really
important story of this month's release are when we break down those job losses by full-time and part-time. The 84,000 jobs lost is actually 109,000 full-time jobs lost, with a gain of 25,000 jobs. So this could be employers are starting to cut hours because the uncertainty of the economy means they can't keep holding on to the employees that they have been holding on to. The layoff rate has actually been remarkably low, but we might be at this tipping point where a flood of job losses is about to come.
Yeah. So that being said, what is the solution to Canada's struggling economy from the new Democratic Party, right? The new Democrat Party. Well, it is socialism and wokeness, right? And that's what we got to talk about here today, because again, this is a preview of what the American Democrat Party is going to look like very, very, very soon. I mean, I feel like
they've learned nothing. Like the American Democrat Party has learned absolutely nothing from the last decade. But I will say that in my opinion, they are basically looking at Trump will be gone in 3 years, and that will open the floodgates for them. And this is a real concern. This is a real concern that everybody needs to be aware of. I know it's easy to think that J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio are awesome, and they are awesome. These guys are going to look completely different when Donald Trump is not there taking all of the attention away from them. Trump doesn't, like, you don't lose someone like Trump and things just remain the same. People have no idea how much attention Trump is always taking away, all the fire, all the focus, all the hatred, all of the bullshit that he takes on. When that guy isn't there anymore, what happens? I don't know the answer to that question. I love J.D. Vance, and Marco Rubio has proven to be an incredible Secretary of State. What happens when Trump is not there?
Already kind of there, right? But this is like, you know, an SNL skit, right? Of the Democrat Party, right? It's like a parody, but this is a actual real thing, and this is what's coming to this country. Like, for example, at this convention where they were tasked with choosing their new leader, they argued about quote unquote equity cards, right? So they started fighting over equity cards. Let's take a listen.
Thank you, Delegate. There's a point of privilege on microphone 1, then we'll go to microphone 3. Go ahead, Delegate.
God.
Yes. Hello. I was standing here with my gender equity card before you called on the previous speaker.
Oh.
That's my point.
No. This can't be real. Somebody tell me this is AI. Somebody tell me this is AI. I don't want to, like, I at least want to be able to say that I questioned if it was AI, because I don't know. This has to be AI. This can't be real. There's no way.
Standing 1, then we'll go to There's a point of privilege on microphone 1, then we'll go to microphone 3. Go ahead, Delegate.
Yes. Hello. I was standing here with my gender equity card before you called on the previous speaker. That's my point of privilege that I would like to raise.
I will explain the speaking order, which is fixed, that I cannot amend, which is the pro-con rotation. You can move yourself up a line that you're standing in.
I am pro, and I was.
We went.
You went pro, con.
We went pro-con, pro. And my plan was to go con. The speaker at con mic 3 also has a speaking card.
Yesterday, this card was used in an inappropriate manner. And while I understand in Ontario, we know this is equity, even if this was also used inappropriate in terms of gender. I want everyone to be mindful that these cards for individuals like myself who identify as a Black woman have no value outside of this space.
Wow. Wow. Incredible. But there's more. There's a lot more. This is, again, a preview of what the Democrat Party in the United States is going to be like. This is going to be mainstream within the Democrat Party in a couple years. I promise you.
Burnaby North Seymour, pronouns he, him. Point of information.
What information do you seek, Delegate?
Can I ask an election about, or can I ask a question about executive elections to the chair?
As I understand it, what more election results we have are going to be announced at the end of the day.
I have a point of information for the elections committee.
The elections committee has gone to do balloting and they're not available to answer your questions.
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry.
Oh no. Like I've seen some cringy shit, man, with like cons and, you know, people asking questions of Minecraft YouTubers and all that shit. This is far worse than any of that shit. Like this is terrible. I can't believe how bad this is.
Everyone 4, are you on a point?
Point of order, Robert Alley, he, they. My understanding as an equity...
He, they. Oh my goodness, this is a clown show. Oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening in the West. Like, what is happening? What is happening to these countries, bro? We cannot end up like this. We cannot end up like this, but this is our future. This is our future. I'm telling you, this is our future if the Democrats win. I'm telling you, right?
Yep.
This is what's coming.
Equity seeking delegate is that these cards are to help the chair hear equity seeking persons.
But this is the thing. This is what's so frustrating about all these clowns that supported Trump and are now turning on Trump. They are losing focus. You can disagree with Trump. That's fine. But to sit here and just completely like make up this narrative that he's covering this up and he's lying about this and he's working for this foreign country, like you are essentially helping usher this bullshit into our country. That's what you're doing. That's why I don't like any of these fucking people, because this is what they are. Maybe they're not trying to do it, but it doesn't matter if they're trying to do it or not. This is what they are helping right here.
And that we don't only hear from white male delegates. Now, this is my first convention, but so I hear equity.
Listen, I don't know why Epic Mike is. Nandy just said it. Meek. I don't know why Epic Mike is up here. I don't know why.
We cannot end up like this. We cannot end up like this, but this is our future. This is our future. I'm telling you, this is our future if the Democrats win. I'm telling you, right? This is what's coming.
Equity seeking delegate is that these cards are to help the chair hear equity seeking persons, and that we don't only hear from white male delegates. Now, this is my first convention, but so I could be wrong, but the reason for my concern is that yesterday during the housing resolution, after a white man spoke, someone at this mic waved their equity card only to give their speaking spot to a white man. Now,
somebody, one of my mods, we're pulling this up on Main Event tomorrow, 100%. All right. Whenever that hot dude looking for Epic Mickey account super chats, we're pulling this account up. All right. Oh yeah, we're doing it. 1000% we're doing that. It's happening. JMNZZ450 says around 2018, I made a video about how full the Democrat Party is and show the DSA, a group that AOC is a member of. It was literally the same point of privilege nonsense. Also, I'm right about most of my predictions. Thank you, JMNZZ450. You are usually spot on, sir. You are usually spot on. And AOC is crazy. Absolutely, she is. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Nandy for 50 says, sounds like him too. Tuesday night's Main Event is going to have an interesting discussion. Oh, it's going to be good. It's gonna be good. I can't wait. I can't wait. All right.
Now,
hang on.
White gave their equity card only to give their speaking spot to a white man. Now, that white man being a leadership delegate, notwithstanding, I had lined up for a long time to discuss the housing resolution, like many others, including my fellow delegate, Akua. I just want...
What is this? What's she saying?
us as a body to understand the spirit of these cards, because we are a party governed by processes and not by any sort of shock doctrine.
Dude,
like I said before,
dude, that did look like Mike. That where he looked in the camera, that looked like Mike when he's yelling about Mario Kart or some shit.
Any sort of shock doctrine.
That's Mike. That's Epic Meek. That's him. Right there.
Like I said before, it's my first convention, but I can tell tensions are high with the leadership contest, and I just want us to make sure that we remember our values that brought us here. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Wow. I am speechless. Right? I'm speechless. Alex Zoltan, who posted this, says it appears the equity card system setup has backfired and become a major bone of contention. Quote unquote equity cards are designated passes or status markings for NDP delegates who identify as belonging to equity seeking groups, although it still remains unclear what groups qualify.
What does this mean? What does any of this mean? Holy shit.
As a self-identified she/her black woman says the equity cards are useless because they don't properly represent her intersectionality. The convention host says she makes an excellent point.
Burnaby North.
Again, this is the Democrat Party, folks.
No.
Right? This is what's coming to America. This is what they're going to turn into, right? Again, it's a convention of freaks, lunatics, weirdos, high-calorie women, low testosterone men.
This is crazy. Zwani says Mickey equity card tax. Let's do. Main event's going to be a banger tomorrow. Main event's going to be a banger tomorrow.
Go ahead.
Whoa.
It's got point of privilege. The microphones seem really low today. It's hard to hear.
Oh no. Oh no.
Weirdos, high-calorie women, low testosterone men.
It's a point of... Go ahead. It's got point of privilege. The microphones seem really low today. It's hard to hear everyone at the mic between the background noise and the volume in here with the microphones.
Say it with, there it is. Little Jim's Halo said it. GCL, baby. GCL. General Contractor Lesbian. I used to work for Home Depot. That's where I got my forklift driving skills. And I'm telling you, man, there would always be some GCLs show up. All right. You're sitting there in the lumber department and these GCLs come walking into Home Depot. They've got their Wranglers on. They got Wolverine boots. They got tape measures on their hip. And I'm like, you look like you could pick up the whole truck. Like, holy shit. GCL. General Contractor Lesbian. That's one right there.
It's really hard to hear. And the closed captioning also is slower to make it hard to keep up with what's going on.
Thank you, delegate. I have a hearing impairment and I'm struggling to hear the delegates, and I know that you are too. Let's have some order. We'll hear from the delegate on microphone 1, please.
I did want to bring attention to the fact that a fellow delegate is holding the gender parity cards.
Let's take the microphone to that delegate. We'll hear from them right now.
Thank you, Joe
She, her. My pronouns are she, her, elle, and en français. It's gonna be really hard to follow Rob Ashton. Amazing speaker. We are a working class party. I think most of us in this room are behind that, and while we can debate on the specific words and who is and isn't included, I think our Constitution needs to recognize that. And I also recognize I'm sorry, I'm speaking way too fast. Let me slow down for the closed captioning. I'm so sorry, I get excited.
It's a point of privilege. The closed captions for this convention are running between 6 and 10 seconds behind. So it's just a request for the chairperson.
Bro, this is fucking amazing. Like, this is amazing. You have essentially brought all the most retarded people in the world together to complain about the most retarded shit ever. This is, honestly, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Oh my God. This is... The content gods are looking down on us and they are smiling because this is peak content right here. Holy shit. And again, make sure mods drop a link to Greg's channel, Black Conservative Perspective. He's awesome.
And 10 seconds behind. So it's just a request for the chairpersons to be aware. And when you move to a vote, I'm still reading the debate. So if we could just take a little pause, that would be appreciated.
Okay. Yes, bonjour, hi. My name is Parker Tian. I'm representing Vancouver Quadra. Just to reply my Franco comrades prior point of privilege earlier, as you can see, I do have one of the translating device. However, I'd like to raise this to the chair's concern that the
How is this real, brother? How is this real? There's...
A little pause, that would be appreciated.
Okay. Yes, bonjour, hi. My name is Parker Tian. I'm representing Vancouver Quadra. Just to reply my Franco comrades prior point of privilege earlier, as you can see, I do have one of the translating device. However, I'd like to raise this to the chair's concern that the sign out process for this device is not necessarily the best because it requires you to fill the form and give a piece of your ID, and most people don't even know where to get it, which is behind the registration table. And also, like, they don't have enough pens when we're there, so there was a very long line up. Also, for the device itself, because it's using infrared technology, you have to kind of like position it so it can receive the signal.
Wow. Incredible.
Oh
Incredible.
my God.
Again, I apologize for
Holy shit.
wasting probably about 6 to 7 minutes of your life.
Ah, man.
But
That was
maybe a
great.
lot of ways.
This is great
if it reminds
content.
people that, listen, this is the choice that you got, right? Like a lot of people are talking about, oh, Republicans get wiped out in midterms. I don't know what's going to happen, right? I'm still, optimistic that hopefully the midterms will be okay, right? I'm really concerned about 2028, to be honest with you, more so than the midterms. But I just want to remind people again, this is like those lunatics that you just saw there, right? Those weirdos, that's the base of the Democrat Party, right? Like these people are the same people that we see at the No Kings rallies, right? The riots. We see those same people there, right? Straight up communist. Socialist, communist, like just flat out, hey, comrade, we stand in solidarity, aka communism. These are all Marxists, and this is what the new Democrat Party is in Canada.
It's incredible,
and this is what the Democrat Party in the United States is going to be, right? Because this is their base, right? This is the base of the Democrat Party. This is who they're in bed with. Okay, like. I could not imagine allowing these people to run a country, right? To run our country. That is what you're allowing when you support the modern day Democrat Party. Okay. I'm just saying. So with that being said, their elected leader, right? This guy He's going to go full mask off here.
And how do you navigate through all of the things that these weirdos are offended by? Like, how do you, like, it's like walking through a field of landmines. One step and you're done. One misstep and it's over. Like, you can't make mistakes with these people.
Right. And promise socialism, right, as a solution to all of Canada's problems, right? More socialism, that is.
The Prime Minister is very popular at the moment. He's a smart guy, and most Canadians still want to give him the benefit of the doubt. That's fair. But I think when you connect the dots, his moves do not add up to the vision that Canadians truly want and deserve in this perilous moment. $500 billion in a decade for weapons to make Canada a major arms exporter in a war-torn world. Slashing our cherished public services. Sweeping aside Indigenous rights. Full steam ahead, no regulations on AI. And pipelines. In the last federal election.
Wow, more regulations, right? More regulations, okay? This is what
J.K. Rowling stepped on a political landmine. See what she got? That is a perfect example of it right there. And it's why I don't want to be like, I'm happy being exactly where I am online, because I don't like being in a situation where you're part of a group of people that are so willing to just be offended over one opinion or whatever. Like, I just can't be in that world. But the J.K. Rowling thing is truly one of the most it's not confusing, but it is incredible that she is everything that the left claims that they love and worship and want. And over one opinion, they think of her as equal to Trump. That's how much the left hates her right now. They fucking hate her so much over one opinion, which is truly astonishing. She's everything. She's everything they want except for one opinion.
But the socialists are presenting as their solution, right?
Canadians voted to say no to Trump and Trumpism. What they're getting instead is our government following the U.S. into a future of wars, fossil fuels, austerity, and job-killing generative AI.
Yeah, so it seems as if Trump derangement is a global phenomenon, right? Like, I mean, you have individuals, leftists in foreign countries running on anti-Trumpism, right? Like, Trump is not the biggest problem with Canada. I know that some of these Canadians may think so, right? Which is probably the only reason why Mark Carney has a decent approval. Yeah, they think that Trump is the cause of all the problems, but it's really not, right? It is too much socialism, too much government, too much regulation. And, you know, I'm not sure if they'll ever learn that, right? They'll ever understand that, hey, maybe, just maybe, socialism is the problem here, right? That's the issue.
Our NDP has a different offer for this country. Our plan is to Trump-proof the economy by investing massively in Canadian economic independence, using the unmatched power of public ownership to ensure the fundamentals of a good life.
Wow. Public ownership.
A network of public providers for food, phones, and internet.
Wow.
A public housing developer and public construction companies to build millions of non-market homes.
They only think about Trump. And again, that's where I hope everybody's really prepared for this, man. People, mark my words, people are going to look when Trump is gone and they're going to think, damn, how good did we have it when he was here? That's what people are going to think about. And I hope you're ready, because when Trump is no longer here, who will stand up against all of this shit? Who? The answer is, I don't know.
A 21st century election electrical grid, an EV bus revolution, and a heat pump in every home. Built with Canadian steel, creating tens of thousands of unionized jobs.
Yeah. Again, that's going to be the American Democrat Party, right? I guarantee you their primary debates are going to sound a lot like that, right? Seriously, this is what they'll be debating, right? This dude is calling for full-blown socialism, right? This is not the type of rhetoric where you could, say, well, it's not really socialist, right? I mean, we are talking about more government control, more government intervention, more government ownership. But see, you don't understand. It's not really socialism, right? It's democratic socialism. They can't even gaslight when it comes to what this guy is saying. This guy is calling for full-blown government ownership, right? Free shit for everybody, right? Free stuff for everybody. The government owns everything, right? That is what this dude is calling for, to be honest with you. And again, I don't think that the Democrat Party in the United States is that far off from this, right? This is their base, right? This is what their base believes in. This is what they want, right? And Democrats continue to capitulate to these far left lunatics because they want power, right? But the capitulation to those individuals is making the Democrats become more and more and more extreme. They're supporting more extreme stuff, right? And again, it's not going to be too long before this is mainstream within the party, right? We're talking about actual party leadership endorsing this stuff, right? They're not that far off from this, okay? This may seem like a joke. We can kiki ha-ha about it, right? It's funny, but it's very close to being reality.
It's serious.
Right here in America.
It was our reality. We were this close to this shit. If it wasn't for Trump, we would be here. And no, all of the people that are critical of Trump are not understanding that. You think Jeb Bush was going to stop this shit? Really? Think Jeb Bush was going to stop this? You think Ted Cruz was going to stop this? John Kasich, is that his name? Was that his name? Kasich? Got the Ohio guy? Like, you think any of these guys were going to stop this shit? No. None of them were going to stop this. Only one person could stop what? Yeah, Rand Paul. Get the hell out of here, man. So that was wild. I'll have to find more clips about that, but that was some wild stuff right there indeed. But thank you. There you go. You led us to that. There you go. So, and thank you for watching. Yeah, man, no problem. Thanks for letting me know about that. So Greg's channel's great. If you guys have not subscribed, I would highly recommend subscribing to his channel. It's always got good stuff out there. So make sure you check that out. Quint says, oh, I got that one. Jade says, Man on Fire is objectively top tier cinema. Absolutely it is. And if somebody says that Man on Fire is not a great movie, I don't like that person. Okay, simple as that. Sterling SOB says, Jeremy doesn't say gamer words on stream unless you have ninja in your name. I don't know what you're talking about. Ducky says, yes, this, please react. Savage Cashew says, shut up and play Freebird. Ataku Lord says, Canada Stan is so screwed. We need a northern wall. CG says, a similar thing happened at a socialist meeting here in the U.S. They kept getting triggered over and over again and were forced to end the conference hours ahead of time. Do we have clips of that? I'd love to see it. CG says that they kept saying point of personal privilege over and over again, and so many got triggered over the clapping. They ended the meeting early. They ate their own, and it was glorious. Sounds about right. Surly SOB says the guy shaped like JD Vance, point of privilege tax. Let's see. Captain JPS says, I'm a paperclip. My equity card was used inappropriately in the bathroom. I have the right to speak tax. We're going to meme on that a lot tomorrow. Evil Black Cat says, good grief. If Canada Stan gets invaded, the invaders won't have to fire a shot to win. They can just shout the wrong pronouns at them. It's Dude 199 says, Oppression Olympics in Canada. Justin Martin says, Tree Bears got a new meme for Meek now. Comics Dad says, already asked Meek about this on X, tagged you on exposing the story about pronoun Meek. Oh, it's going to be so good tomorrow. Gandalf Sweaty Balrog says, Jeremy, my stripper won't accept my gender equity card as payment. Can you loan me some of the Mossad super chat cash? As long as it's not a dude. Millen says, at first we see Meek, now we're seeing Philip, and had the shorty Kata, just white version. Who else is going to show up on this? Where's Beardo at? What's up, Mar Millen? Surly SOB got your pre-stream chat grift tax, by the way. He got you covered today. Let's see. The most you can have says, for many years, the CIA infiltrated communist operations in the U.S. and instead of destroying them, it merely made them completely ineffectual. What if they adopted that ineffective BS and kept going? Yeah, I mean, it's possible. But yeah, I mean, I understand your point. It's possible. Jim P says, if the DNC really believes or behaves like this in 2028, well, be the end of the DNC. The test will be in state conventions. They set the national agenda for 2028. Imagine the amount of money you, Crowder, and some others will make. It will be interesting, but I don't want to lose our country over this shit. Spirian for a 199 super sticker. Thank you, John Wayne says, I feel like I would have to douse myself with holy water before entering such a place. Any base Canadian money out there ought to fix their country fast. Samurai says, Metallica Don't Tread on Me lyrics apply to Iran. Bird Up says, I can't believe that ridiculously gay country was once cool enough to give us Rush and Bret Hart. Bret the Hitman Hart. Ministry of Wrong Thing says, Alex Stein can't even parody this. Surly BS says, is that Sam Sung? Zero says, always remember, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, all geeks win. That's right. Quentin says, Detective Blake Rises is crap, but Hathaway is fire. Ducky says, clips of that are the 2010 DSA convention. Thank you, Ducky. And to everybody, Ministry of Wrong Things says, point of personal privilege. You're all bigs. All right, we're going to end it there. We got another stream happening tonight, and I'm going to do a gaming stream. So another CobraCast later tonight, and a gaming stream on D-Day Cobra Gaming. So if you're not subscribed to that channel, you should. We went for like 5 or 6 hours last night. So yeah, another CobraCast later tonight. Catch up on all the other stuff. I want to see if I can find more clips of that shit to react to. So tag me on Twitter if you know of any clips that we can react to. It's going to be good stuff. And Jess says, you're going to stream over my husband as usual. I know it. I would never do that intentionally. I don't want to make ABF mad. We've already seen what happens when ABF wants to troll. He can troll with the best of them. Thank you, Zwani, and thank you for all the super chats. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like the video. Smash the melee button if you don't mind. I do appreciate it. Have your notifications turned on. We'll be live again, and then we will play some games later tonight. You guys have a good evening. We'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.